it's gonna sound stupid, but yeah, you just don't think about it. You just go out there and you do your
Mhm.
job, right? You just go out there like, I'm gonna collect a story. What's happening around me? I'm just gonna film it. You know what I mean? You don't think about later. Eventually, you think, like, oh man, millions of people are gonna watch this.
Right.
Mhm.
But if you can't get in your head like that. You just
Mhm.
have to do your job. Like be in. You have to be in the moment. Like we were kind of
Yeah.
talking off camera. Like
Mhm.
you're in it, and you're just. It's just a. I don't know. It's like a weird feeling and a weird rush that you get.
Mhm.
You just have to roll with it.
Hi, my name is Jim Ellis, and this is Elias Acosta.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're watching Industry Insights, where we bring in industry professionals to share their knowledge and their experience to the next generation of filmmakers. Well, here we are in the Film Hub and the film-friendly city of Vista, and we're sitting in our new stage called the Talk
Yeah.
Show stage. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
different teams.
Yeah.
And as I understand, it's like a transformer. Like you can move around and then it
Yeah.
will become
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, that's right. I think there's a button somewhere. If you push the button, everything flips around,
Oh, really?
and if you're in that chair, I don't know, something happens to you. Maybe we become more desirable cinematographers and filmmakers. I don't
Oh,
know.
really? What is that
Or
button?
maybe we get ejected. I don't know.
Or we go into space and disappear.
Yeah.
With the new AIs and all this stuff and virtual world, who knows? Metaverse, we meant that
Yeah.
somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't think you can replace real intelligence with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a discussion, but it's happening. Yeah, today is an interesting day. We want to talk more a hand-on experience on camera operation.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't think about this being, they take it for granted that the camera is there, but who's behind the camera? Who operates? And I think this is where things happen a lot in the films and the television show. Is somebody receiving, information on how that shot should be placed, how to move, and you know, it's a responsibility.
Yeah, it's a big one. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to have Michael Bean here, who is a camera operator. He's
Mm.
worked for Freemantle Media, which, goodness, it's been around since, I don't know, some of you guys, before you were born. I think it started in the 50s. So they're doing something right. And he was working on such shows as American Idol and America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So very excited to talk to him about some of these programs. We just met, I don't know, about a month ago. He walked into the Film Hub. He was waiting for a play to start at the Avo Theater down the street. And he's got a couple of little girls that were going to see the play. And so it was great to meet him, and excited to have him on the program today. Michael, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Michael, our pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
So tell us, you started in the industry. You were in Los Angeles beginning?
No, I was actually living in the Bay Area where I grew up. I grew up in Santa Rosa.
No, kidding.
Yeah, and funny, my wife, then girlfriend, her father, Jimmy Garcia, good guy. He's a longtime cinematographer, and I never really knew what I wanted to do. And then one day he's like, "Hey, we're gonna be in San Francisco doing auditions for American Idol. You should come be a PA." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, why not? I'll try that out." And I go, and we had auditions at AT&T Park, and there was like 10,000 people there lined up outside of it, and I had to sit at the registration desk and check them all in, and among other things, headshots and wrangling and whatever. Yeah, that was my first job in the business, and it was the show's like a traveling circus. They go from one town to the next and just hire locals and all right, see you next time. And so the show left, and I was like, oh, that was great. I liked that. That was really fun. Um, and so I just searched out work in the Bay Area.
Now, you hadn't done any camera work up to this point.
I had zero camera experience.
Okay.
I had zero experience. I mean, in high school, I was in stagecraft class where I did some lighting, whatever. But yeah, zero camera experience at all. On Idol, I met a guy loading a truck at the very last day, and he's like, "Hey, let me get your contact. Maybe we can connect or whatever. And so he helped me get my next job. I worked on what was it? The next thing I worked on was that movie Contagion, the Soderbergh,
Contagion, yes.
Soderbergh movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a PA, a lockup PA, in the middle of the rain, standing in the park, telling people they couldn't continue because they're shooting down at the in the park there. And then from there, just like, hey, what's going on next, guys? Like I'm at the time I was working a retail job, and I hated it. I had zero direction with that. I was like, this is not for me. So I just continued searching out, and then one day that same guy I loaded the truck with, was like, hey, I need you to cover me on this show with this company called Indigo Films. They did a lot of the investigation discovery shows. One of them was I Almost Got Away with It, like the crime recreation shows, And one of them was Wives with Knives and 50 Ways to Kill Your Lover. It was just like silly, campy shows. But I got on that, and I was just the PA, and they were like, "Are you going to be the crafty PA?" I was like, "Okay, what's that?" So I'd go to Costco every other day, made sandwiches for the DP. I figured out what they all like too. So that's one thing I'd say to people: just pay attention to what's going on, and just be observant, and just anticipate things. So that's just what I did. So I grew quickly in that show, on that crew, to the point where I finally was like, at first I thought I wanted to do audio. I was like, how do I get into that? And then I quickly realized I don't want to do that at all. Not for me.
Why was that?
I don't know. Like I just don't. It doesn't hit me. I just doesn't. It's funny because I was a musician before I got into the business, and I thought maybe that would translate well. And it just still does, but I just didn't. I didn't want to hold a boom all day. I didn't want to deal with frequencies and hits. Anyway, I worked with them, and then I became friends with the first AC, and they brought me into the camera department as a camera PA, and I would just do whatever. I essentially seconded. I would run batteries, I would slate, I would, I'd help the grips build dolly track.
How old are you at this time?
25, 24, 25.
Oh, because you only look like 29 right
I'm
now.
38. Thank you. If I took this hat off, it got very gray quickly. Kids will do that.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got into the camera department and just paid attention and asked questions and, just observed and learned, I worked with a great DP. His name was Randy Love. He taught at the Art Institute in San Francisco. He taught cinematography there. He was really great to learn from. He was can I say ass?
Yeah.
He was a hard ass.
Yeah.
He was a hard ass, but he was, I'm really happy he was, because he taught me how to do things right, But yeah, and then from there, my wife and I, we decided we wanted to move to LA and take that next step, and so we moved to LA, and I knew nobody. I didn't know anybody. I got a random call from a guy in the Bay Area to do a documentary, traveling the East Coast. First time I was in Connecticut, it was beautiful. And just ran with that. And then when I got back from that, I got an interview. I hit up Jimmy. I was like, hey, I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody at Idol I could
This
meet
is
with?
Jimmy Garcia.
Jimmy Garcia.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G. Like, hey man, like I don't know anybody. Any help would be great. So he put my name in with them, and I got a call because they were looking for a producer shooter. So I went in there, had the worst interview I've ever had in my life. I'm not. I was nervous. I didn't know. It was my first big LA audit interview. And then so they're like, all right, we'll call you. I did the interview. We'll call you this afternoon and let you know. I didn't get a call. It come like 8:30 at night. I was like, oh crap, I didn't get it. And I emailed the boss's assistant like, hey, any word? I was told I'd hear back. He's like, no, don't worry, they'll let you know. And then at like 9:30 at night, I get a call from the line producer. Hey, can you be on a flight at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow to Detroit? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh man, I gotta go pack. I was nervous, and they flew me to Detroit and handed me a little crappy camera. It was like, what was it? A Sony A7? No, not A7. It was a little DV camera. I forget what model it was even. Z7U, what it was. And they're like, go out there and shoot stuff. And there's a line of like 8,000 people up in front of the, the Lions Detroit Lions stadium there, and I just like, okay, just threw me in the fire, just like went for it. And and then that turned into, I did 3 years on that show as a producer shooter.
Yeah.
Um, just which was a great learning experience because I didn't know anything beforehand. I dabbled a little bit in camera at that point before I got hired on the show, but yeah, I had to figure it out
Yeah.
right away. And then so the good thing about that position on the show was, we're going into the edit afterwards. So I'd work for 3-4 months. We traveled everywhere. I'd never really traveled that much before, and so I've been to like 48 states now because of the show. I just haven't been to Alaska or North Dakota. Anyway, yeah, going into the edit was probably the most. It was free film school for me because I'd go in there and watch all my footage. I'm like, oh wow, that's terrible. Or, oh, okay, that was okay. And then watch the other operators, like the union guys that have been in the show in the business for years, watch what they're doing. Like, oh, okay, need to hold my shots longer, or, don't cut as much, or, just breathe, take your time. Yeah, so that was really, really helpful. And I just basically self-taught myself and just watched what everyone else did. Um,
And this process, so and within this, people want to break into the industry. So what I gather from you is you have to get yourself out there, even
have
if
to.
your level of knowledge may not match what they're calling for, but you should take the risk and
Yeah,
just
totally.
go. Right?
And like, yeah, I'd seen when I was a PA on that one season, I saw the shooter producers running around with like when you're a shooter producer, you have a backpack full of lenses and a tripod, a pouch full of tape, whatever you have, and you're just running solo. And I was like, I can do that. I was young. I was like, yeah, sounds fun, And yeah, you just gotta. I was like, so I went into the interview. I was like, I know I've never done this before, but I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. Fearless. Yeah.
You have to be.
And in these days, a young generation of backpack shooter, well, we call it, but there are a lot of them now that can go, but they always looking for the opportunity. And so hopefully the story today on the learning today is that, yes, there are opportunities if you are willing to go,
Take the risk,
and take the chance.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges of working on a high profile show like American Idol? Obviously, there's a lot of pressure,
There honestly,
or maybe there isn't.
there is not from. I didn't feel it. I mean, yeah, like it's gonna sound stupid, but yeah, you just don't think about it. You just go out there and you do your job, right? You just go out there and like, I'm gonna collect a story. What's happening around me? I'm just gonna film it. You know what I mean? You don't think about later. Eventually, you think like, oh man, millions of people are gonna watch this.
Right.
But if you can't get in your head like that. You just have to do your job. Like be in. You have to be in the moment. Like we were kind of talking off camera. Like you're in it, and it's just I don't know. It's like a weird feeling and a weird rush that you get. You just have to roll with it.
It's intuitive in a sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just know what to do when you're in the situation.
Yep.
And not everybody has that skill, I don't think. Obviously, you do.
Yeah. It took years. At first, I didn't. At first, I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna figure this out and have fun. That's really what I was doing. I was just having a good time.
Okay, so you can develop that skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the kind of show or project that you love the most to be involved?
I love them. I love working on American Idol because it's like a family. People have been there for years that are working on it, and
yeah, it's going on like what, 20 years now.
We
isn't it?
just were. I was just 2 weeks ago. I was in Hawaii for them on season 21. It just aired the other night, actually. Yeah, it's gonna be a really good one. But that show is special to me because having been a producer on that one, I have a different relationship with the producers there. I'm a little closer with them. Whereas like some of the camera ops that like the freelance guys that just come in for a week or two, they don't have that rapport with them. They don't have that closeness, So like when anytime I go like to the stage for the live shows, I'll be doing backstage stuff or whatever. It's just like going back to an old job or back to work or back to your parents' house or something.
That's cool.
It's just there's a coziness to it.
So I think the fun thing is you are on the road doing the
Yeah.
fun things, and when it comes to show to the stage, there's another team
Yeah.
that
So
takes over
yeah.
that.
So there's the way the show works is there's the stage side and then there's the reality side. So
Mhm.
A unit, B unit. You know.
Yeah.
So you probably enjoy the live side rather than the stage side, right?
The reality side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, eventually, I'd like to do the live stage stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But in reality, it takes you to so
It's
many
fun.
situations. You have to solve it yourself. You're on your own. Your
Y- y-
independence.
right.
And,
And like there, for instance,
Mhm.
like I went and did a home story for a kid in Mississippi, and like it's just me, a producer, an audio person, an AC,
Mhm.
and a local PA.
Mhm.
And so I'm setting up lights, like just
Mhm.
having full creative
Yeah.
control over it in a
Right.
sense.
That's nice.
We have a style that we go for that we all talk about with the DP and
Mhm.
the producers, but like you have pretty much creative freedom to kind
Yeah.
of explore it.
Now, you said in those small, you have a DP and you're an
Mhm.
operator. So how you work that out?
So there's a DP that sets like the overall look. Like, essentially, like when we're out doing these things, we're all our own DPs.
Mm-hmm.
We're like a bunch of little DPs running around, but there's
Yeah.
like the guys that are in control that you have to like, hey, what settings are we going with today in this
Mhm.
room? What's the white balance that you chose?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they'll go before all the crews get there to start filming, they'll get there a day early and light.
Mm.
Like say like the holding room where all the contestants sit and hang out.
Mm.
They'll in a room like this, like, all right, they'll light it however it is, and all right, at this time of day, we're gonna flip it to night mode, so
Mhm.
everyone change your white balance accordingly,
Mhm.
and essentially, yeah, they just give you like a baseline of what they're wanting.
Okay. Okay.
And like say like our interviews this year, they're like we want them center punch rather than off to the side,
Okay.
just a different style and
Mhm.
more like white anamorphic framing.
Yeah.
Do you
Good.
feel like there's any special techniques or skills that you have to acquire other than what we spoke about into and being intuitive that you had to develop in order to be the best?
A big skill you have to have is people skills.
Mm.
And like being a team player with
Mhm.
producers and other operators, like you got to leave your ego, honestly, just be humble and just have a good time, um, that's a big part of these shows because if you have a bad attitude or you think you're better than everybody or any of that, these shows, they don't have time for that. They don't care
Yeah,
about that.
right.
That's the thing is like people think Hollywood is all these like ego driven maniacs, but it's like most of them are regular people. They're just doing a job
Exactly.
that they like to do.
And I feel
There's-
like a lot of the people on that show are more down to earth. And
Yeah, they're all
perhaps
very
some
down
of
to earth
others.
people.
Yeah.
And there are people out there there's a bad seed.
Yeah.
There's a jerk here and there,
Yeah.
but 90% of the time you're gonna get regular people that just want to do a good job.
Mhm.
Have you noticed any conflict on some that or no? It's
Not
very
really.
well.
Yeah, especially a
thought
show
out.
like that's been around for so long.
Mhm.
That's like people know.
It's already.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been there for 20 years. Like my audio guy's been there
Yeah.
since season 1.
Mm.
Do you know Chris Tront? Either of you guys?
Chris? Mhm.
Tront, he's from Orange County.
Yeah.
He's amazing. But yeah, he's been there forever.
Mm.
The guy's like he always has a backpack on and
Yeah.
his little pouch.
Mm.
And like if you need anything, you're like, hey, I need vitamins or I need a band-aid.
He's got
I
it.
need a switchblade. He got it.
Mm.
Yeah, after 20 years, I
Yeah.
figure you got it pretty honed
Well,
down.
those
you
kind of
build
guys.
it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
in
even
a
like
way.
the producers, like the executive producer Megan Michaels Wolflick, sorry, get that right. She's been there forever. She started from the bottom, and now she's the boss. So like,
It's a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we talk about camera operation. I mean, I continue to go there because being a DP and operator as well is the fact that the feeling that you get when you really hammer it down, like you got it, and how anybody coming into this and want to be operator, what are the recommendations that you might have about because you have to follow your own, right?
Yeah.
But how you train yourself to say, I got it right.
oh man, I just know it. I think. I mean,
Mhm.
it's experience, and like
You've got to have an eye.
you gotta have an eye for it,
Right.
Mhm.
and yeah, I think a lot of that is just like just feeling it. Like you
Mhm.
can tell when you get like you can do one thing over and over and over
Mhm.
again. And you're like, doesn't quite feel right. It's
Mhm.
just like you just know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And I think if you don't know, then you better be into audio or something else.
into
Right?
something else.
Become a grip.
But my point was, for example, sometimes you are shooting and the director say, "Well, I want another one, another one." You are the operator. You hit it, or you are the DP. You hit it. You know that 3 takes back is the right one.
Well, that's when you go to the script supervisor and say, Mark 3,
Yeah,
that's the one,
That's
but
the
let's
one.
keep doing what they want
Yeah.
in case, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You have the opportunity to even do that.
Yeah.
Well,
It depends.
in some sense.
Yeah.
In others,
Just
why
nudge
you
and be like, hey,
hey.
just mark it down.
Yeah, because they
Don't let the
are-
directors. Yeah,
I would
Yeah.
think any director would appreciate that. You know, it's another.
You'll be surprised.
Well, a good
the director would be
a
like,
good
no, I
director.
tell you which one to mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that kind of director. I don't know how many times you want to work for him, but sometimes you got to work.
Depends
with
on the
everybody.
set.
It depends on the set, the person, you know, and how complex that thing is. Because really, we are there for the vision of the director, and you know, things can be subjective. I mean, one thing is how I see it,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
how the
Things are
director is telling
subjective.
his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
depends
it's
on how
like-
close you are with the director, too. If you know them
But-
well,
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of be like, hey, mark 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk to the director about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you don't know them, just let it be. Let them make those decisions.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always do. Try
wanna
to
step on
be,
toes.
you know, with the director and sit down and flesh out things and
Right.
try to be part of the team. So he
Yeah.
gets into his mind that you are not playing against him, but
Right.
Mhm.
We're there to
him
help them and make
yeah.
it.
Very good, very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, to have that established before you even start working together. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that you know each other's skill levels
Yeah.
and talents, and
There's a trust.
Yeah, exactly. And I would appreciate someone who could help me direct by offering that kind of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. What else you want to talk about? Technology?
Yeah, no, we can talk a little bit about technology. I know there is a technology shift in the industry, and it all have to do with AI, robotics, new cameras, you know, bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
the demand for the show on, you know, if we're going to shoot 6K, 8K, 12K, 18K, 26, 32K, you know, it thing keep growing. There's no end to it. But, you know, how you have been able to keep up with the technology and the requirement, because one rolls into it.
So I mean, like, I've been on these shows so long that they kind of sit with their formats that they like. Like American Idol, we shoot on Alexa Minis, which is a nice graduation from we were on F800s
Yeah.
forever,
Right.
and then F55s that now finally settled on the Alexa Mini. And I think eventually, if the show keeps continuing, which I probably will, probably go into the Alexa 30. Was it 35?
35. Mm-hmm.
What was the attraction to the Alexa Mini?
They're beautiful. It's
Yeah,
a gorgeous
yes,
camera.
yes.
Yeah, just period.
Mhm.
That's really
And
it.
that's standard in the industry right now.
And like
as
those shows,
well,
like
yeah.
if you look at a lot of reality shows or unscripted shows,
Mhm.
a lot of them are getting much more, like more and more cinematic every year.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like they're
Mhm.
getting sliders and gimbals. I do a lot of gimbal.
Mhm.
So everyone just wants to be cinematic now instead of the handheld just running and grabbing whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which we
Mhm.
still do on those with those cameras, but they just want that look.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All the
Yeah,
stuff
well,
made me
and
seasick.
with the lighting being also the revolution of lighting.
Yeah, you don't need much light for
It's
those
just
things. They're just beautiful
everything.
cameras.
And
as
that's
is.
the good thing about Alexa Mini or Alexa per se. No, Ari always say it's not resolution but color
Mhm.
science.
Right. Like the mini's not even, it's like an ultra HD. It's
Yeah.
not even 4K.
But under the 4K, and
Yeah.
so and they are able to look much better than the red camera, even though red camera have a big resolution and
Yeah.
everything. But
It's not all about resolution.
Right.
No,
But we do use reds on AGT
Mhm.
specifically because they like that.
That's that Americans Got Talent.
Yeah, America's Got Talent. I mean, it's like Idol's got their look, AGT's got their look, Dancing with the Stars has their look.
Yeah.
You know, they all have
Mhm.
different formats, but AGT will punch the resolution a lot. Like say if
Yeah.
we're shooting on stage
Mhm.
and there's a dancer doing whatever they're doing up there, it's really fast movement. We'll shoot most of the time. We'll shoot it at like 120,
Mhm.
depending on the movement. And because we are on certain lenses and we gotta be quick,
Mhm.
we'll just pop the resolution from 8K to 4K or 8K to
Mhm.
3K.
Mhm.
Try to stay away from 2K, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good tool on that show specifically.
Mhm.
Reds aren't my favorite cameras to use, but they do look really nice and they are good for that kind of.
No, I I always like them. In fact, all the comedy that I shoot it on red because there are certain color signs in there also that pop up.
Yeah.
The Caribbean look.
Yeah.
You get it better with the red with almost any other.
Sure.
And that's how I shoot comedy. But if I'm going to drama or anything like that, then I go to the Ari line.
They have a much softer look.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So. And I think technology-wise, we just enjoying the best time in history concerning the look of things. Monitors being intelligent now and having all of that done.
Yeah. So, yeah. I love Small HD makes beautiful monitors. I love those. I don't like them for lighting, but I like them for operating.
Yeah.
So where are you heading? Where do you want to be in 5 years from now?
Great question. I don't know. I mean, I've been riding the reality wave for so long that it's like, eventually I'd like to get my toes dipped in scripted. I haven't really done much of that. So that's one way I'd like to go. Back when I was on the recreation shows, those were all scripted. So I kind of got a taste of it, but I've never operated it, so I'd like to get into that field and just hone those talents a little more, because reality is like very reactionary and very free flowing, whereas scripted is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's very precise, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you have to hit the mark every time, and he's very disciplined, and I want to try that.
And that's when you get yelled at, by the TD. You say, what happened, camera? You hear all kinds of bad words in your headset. So it's a pressure.
Right, that's the thing. But yeah, there's more pressure. I've done like little scripted like skits and stuff for like America's Got Talent, and like those are precise. And yeah. If you bump it, or if you're soft a little bit, it's like, oh, crap, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But those are the challenges, And going. See, for some people want to go more independent, doing their own thing. You want to go scripted. So to round up the whole experience.
Yeah. I'd like to I do a lot of gimbal too, so I'd like to get into the scripted side of that too. That's very fun. A very fun skill.
Now, do you have your own independent production company also?
Or I'm totally freelance, yeah. So if I get a call from someone, they're like, hey, are you available tomorrow or next week? And yeah, totally. So
if somebody wants to contact you, where's the best place to contact you?
On my hashtags, or what do you say? What do you call it? Your social medias?
Social medias.
Social medias below.
The contact.
Yeah. Email as well.
Okay. That's michaelbeanproductions@gmail.com.
That's right.
All right. Well, anything else we want to cover?
I think pretty good, And
any tips for aspiring camera people?
Be a nice guy. Don't be hard to work with.
Yeah.
And work hard.
Develop your skills.
Develop your skill. Yeah, develop your skills. Stay up on top of technology, best you can. Just keep shooting. Shoot.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about that, because for operator, I remember we had a test when we were trained at Panavision, and it was at the end of the lens they would put a pencil, and with the gear head, for you to write your name with it. By doing that. So, and what they said, every day, just do exercise, just like your physical exercise, go out there and do whatever with your camera. Something that help you even walking around, those are things that you develop as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And not go cold, it's an exercise. I do that.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, keep yourself in shape, because it's physically
pretty demanding.
Extremely demanding.
Yeah.
When you're young, you don't think about it. Oh yeah, I can go. Run up the stairs and get the shot. And then I'm only 38, and I'm already like, oh man, that's hurting.
Well, I think most of us have one shoulder that's lower than the other because of camera work, and my chiropractor mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I like the free camera on your shoulder into a long stretch, and I do those exercises even today. Every day, I take my camera out. Every day, I had to take a shot every day, and just composition, lighting, reflections, things like that. And I think that's how you keep you
thinking about it.
And that's the problem with going somewhere with a camera person, because they're stopping every 5 minutes.
It's a great shot.
A great shot, and was
That's
the
my
whole-
wife. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But
Trying
you're sorry to interrupt, but like
Yeah.
the pencil thing on the
Yeah.
lens, a lot of people now, like the master wheels or like the
The gearhead.
the gearhead ones, the whatever. You could put a laser. People put like laser
Oh,
pointers
put a
on
laser
it, and like
also.
they'll make a trace on a wall or
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
just follow it. You know,
Yeah.
like,
hmm
such a cool
Yeah,
skill,
but it's a
actually.
good exercise. Train your brain to how it works in coordination.
Muscle memory.
And,
All that's a big thing about it.
That's
A lot of
what
it's
it is.
muscle memory.
Exactly.
Sure.
well, good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Michael, for
Thanks for
coming
having
down
me.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
he actually lives right down the street from the Film Hub, so it's very convenient. And again, if you want to find out more about what he's doing and where he's heading, you can email him, michaelbeanproductions@gmail.com. For more information on the Film Hub, you can follow us on Instagram at the Film Hub Inc. or visit our website at thefilmhubinc.com. Until next time, we'll see you.
Keep shooting.
The Film Hub. Inspire the creative. Ignite the world.